create leadership with our unfranchised business, but also to join together to link arms and to help each other. Because we believe that when you link arms and you are what we call a family, which is friends and family combined, when you're a family, but there's much more power in that. We're here to celebrate each other and to help raise each other up and to help each other for sure. So we are excited about that.
And isn't it nice, like when you go to your JOB, you don't really get to pick the people that you work with, right? But here we get to pick the people that we lock arms with, and it's so great because we are just amazing people with amazing gifts to bless and serve others, and we all get to leverage each other. And how wouldn't it be nice, guys, if you went to your office or to your job and they said, you know what? We're going to give 100% of 100% of 100%. Well, what does that mean? Well, today you're going to work your 8 hours, but yet the coworker, you're going to get paid for their 8 hours. What if you got paid for your coworker's 8 hours, guys? Wouldn't that be great? And you got your 8 hours, and then you got your coworker's 8 hours, and then you got everybody in the office's 8 hours. Wouldn't that make you want to like pee your pants a little? Like, so we get excited because we get each other's hours, right? So we get paid 100% of 100%, and that's 100%. Everybody say cha-ching.
It's so true. And what's crazy is, being in the company now for 20 years, to see that, how many people have truly been helped from this company. It's not just a few, it's truly thousands and thousands and thousands of people that has completely changed their life. Their health, with our products, obviously unbelievable, as well as creating residual ongoing income. So congratulations for being here. We do this every single week. It's a 12-week program that we've started, and we have different divisions at it each night. So we have a power profile where we're sharing the success of individuals in the business. And then we have a portion where we're covering products, as well as skin, as well as product training, and then leadership training and skill training. So we're really excited about that tonight to be able to go through that and share that with you for sure.
And what's really great too is we have a testimonial booth. So if you're our guest tonight, and actually maybe you felt something tonight here, or you experienced something, the person that brought you is going to get credit if you just go share a little testimony on a video. Just said, hey, I really like this. It was amazing. This is what I learned, or this is what I experienced. Make sure that you are still, everybody's giving their testimonies, because they're going out all over the world and they're impacting people. And we believe we have a business to impact the world. And like Stacy said, what's crazy is that this company's been around for over 25 years. Yet in the last 3.5 and 4 years, it's new here. Nobody knew about Market America or Shop.com. So that's why we're really doing our best to let the world know, why do they need to know about this? Because it's the best kept secret ever. And you're doing it anyway, yet you're just not getting paid for it because you don't really understand, or you don't know what you don't know. So all of our guests, we just are so excited again and blessed that you're here. And thank you for coming, because the person that brought you really thinks the world of you, and you're also doing them a favor, because you know what? They're expanding their business, and maybe it's for you, maybe it's not, but yet maybe you can help them, educate someone else. If you know someone shopping online, or if you know someone that really needs extra supplemental income, that's what we're all about. So we're really excited because we teach and we coach and we mentor here on Monday nights, so that people can be confident and they can be successful in their business and feel successful when they're knowledgeable.
Exactly. So one of the things we like to start with on Mondays is a couple of things. We always just let people know, if this is your first time, that when one person claps, everybody claps, because we're a team, just so you know. If one person stands, everybody stands, because we're a team. You don't ever want to let anybody hang. Would you guys agree? Have you ever seen it before when somebody clapped and nobody else clapped, and that person's like, one sits, everybody sits. Okay, you guys can sit. Just kidding. So we are a team, and we really believe in that. Another thing that we like to do here is we believe that the words that you speak on a daily basis become the world around you. Would you guys agree with that? That the words that you speak, you are co-creating the world around you with God. And so we believe in the power of words. And so we like to start this out too with declarations, declaring over each other and ourselves what the world is going to look like. And so we usually lead it, but we thought tonight it would be fun to bring up a couple of people to actually help us to lead it, that are doing these declarations on a daily basis. So I'm going to help bring them up. Yeah, we all give Amy, Morgan.
another one is, every person that I meet, I have value to offer. So, how did I say it before? Yeah, so every person I meet, I have value to offer. So good.
Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better.
Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better.
We also love kicking people out of their comfort zone. Because it's like having a baby, everything stretches and you get it right. Okay, so right, everything grows, on the inside. But and then what you give birth to, you never want to give back. You never are going to remember the pain of what you experience, and it's a beautiful thing. And that's really what's happening here, and we're seeing so many lives touched and changed by truly shopping. I mean, how can you ever even imagine? But what it's doing is it's growing our confidence and growing leadership within. And I believe that, we can't get that just anywhere. And yet, it's great to be able to give it away. Right? We always go, give it away, give it away, give it away now. You know what I mean? I know I was a white rapper, it's okay. Dolores, right? Come on now. So anyway, we're just really excited and blessed to really be with all of you guys tonight, because this is truly what's about. And, thanks to all of the people who make this happen each every week. Emily and her family, Chad, don't get it. And of course, Troy, we give him and him such great, and then everybody who helps set up and, do everything that you do to make this successful.
And it's being used everywhere, which is really exciting. We have leadership academies now that are watching the videos that are starting in Chicago. They've started in Minnesota, in Florida,
Wisconsin,
in California, in Iowa. I mean, truly, they are starting everywhere off of this program. They're taking these videos and using them. So it's really exciting. It's a great thing. What we're going to do is you want to introduce our power profile. Oh, actually, we got to give a prize.
Anybody ready for a prize? Yeah. All right, so we got to give our drum roll. Last week, we had a challenge, right, Stacy?
And so the challenge was whoever could sell the most dollars in skincare this week, between last Leadership Academy and this Leadership Academy. So if anybody sold any kind of skincare last week, go ahead and stand.
All right. Woo-hoo. All right.
Okay, so you don't need
The auctioneer. Okay, so we're going to start from $0 to $50, $50 to $100. Okay, wait. Stand back up. Okay, stand back up. Okay, so 52, you're to 35. Okay, and then Nora, what was yours? 87? 52? 15? Awesome! All right, so Nora is the winner. She is after tonight, you're definitely going to wish you won that, right? So it's going to be a good thing tonight.
Exactly.
So like Stacy said, our company has power profiles that are always, anything you want to give out to people. Like our company collects these power profiles of people who've been successful in the business, and so we thought we would kind of recreate that here. And so what we did is we asked this amazing couple who, again, has only been a part of this business now for 3 years. I think it's been right at 3.5. So I was kidding. It's been so fun, time flies, right? But literally, I love their story, because literally they've come from from the pit to the palace, and from paycheck to getting checks every week. And I know they're here to tell their story, but they're my best friends. And what I love is that when you can, when you've seen somebody go and have nothing, and yet you've given them an opportunity, and all of a sudden it works, right? It works for them. And she was a single mom for over 10 years. And she was literally living paycheck to paycheck, and she was an interior designer and did what she loved, but yet she had a fibromyalgia and IBS, and tonight she's going to tell that story, how the product changed her life. But then, she had Nick, and he's like, I think we need to get married. No, they got married, and today they're literally just as honored on stage. He's not stupid. Look at her. 7,500 to 10,000 residual every 4 weeks after 2 years, y'all. This is a 2 to 3 year plan, guest. To 6 figures residually in 10 10 to 12 hours a week. I don't know where you can go that your corporate job would say, hey, if you work for 2 to 3 years, then you're going to get a residual 6-figure income. All you got to do is follow the system. And you know what? That's what they did. So will y'all please give it up for Nick and Kirby.
Saved Quimby's life. It was then when I was able to stop massaging her for what, hour and a half massages a week. I thought, well, I can go ahead and ask her to marry me now. Because well, my name is Nick Franovich, and it's true. You know, prior to Market America, I spent 15 years in the health and fitness industry. The last 5 years of that, I spent as a medical massage therapist, and had an incredibly successful business. I made about $75,000 a year, a lot of clients, loved what I did. But my life took a radical shift when I woke up one day and I couldn't stand up straight. It took me a couple of weeks to be able to just stand up totally straight, but even after that, my life was never the same. I could no longer work. The pain was unbearable. So my life really got shook. It scared me because my whole life had been in that arena. And the first thing I did was what we were all taught to do, we need to find a different way to make money, is I decided to go back to school. So I got $15,000 in debt, took out a student loan, and decided I could try to go make some money with my head, not my hands. And I started taking prerequisite classes for physical therapy assistant. And it was through the course of that time, that first semester, that Brandy introduced me to a man that totally changed my life forever, Tom Holden. And when I met Tom, yeah, give it up for Tom. When I met Tom, you know, God puts people in your life to do one of two things. It either takes it down south or brings it further up north. And so with this situation, it took me up. I asked him what he did because I respected his lifestyle. I was very curious. Finally, when we got to the core of it, he told me he built an internet marketing company called Shop.com for 5 years. Was able to retire. Long story short, he brought me down to Houston to see a plan by a man named Shu Yang. And the important thing to note is that when I started, I was a lot different. I only had a wardrobe of scrubs and massage outfits and workout gear. Working in a dark hole for 5 years, my social skills were through the floor. Didn't have any friends because I was always exhausted. After the plan, I remember like it was yesterday, Tom said, well, what do you think? And I said, I don't have any friends and my social skills are probably at a 1 out of 10. But, you know, I believe in the philosophy of that company as a product brokerage and something that, as I changed in life, it would change with me. But more importantly, I believe in you, Tom, that I believe that you can teach me how to become somebody like you that could be successful building this business, because I was nowhere near close back then. And that's important because that's what it's about. It's about seeing more in somebody and helping them pull it out, even though they're not where they are. You can take them where they need to be. And so we partnered, and what was happening with you at about that time?
So Brandy, like she mentioned, I was sick for many years, was at a place in my life, struggling financially, looking for something, but I didn't really know what I was looking for. A total blessing in disguise when these guys introduced me to this product, changed my life within 1 week. The fibromyalgia, pain, and inflammation was completely gone. And so, of course, that caught my attention. I thought to myself, how many people do you know out there who are struggling with some kind of health condition? And I said, I've got to share my story with whoever I can to truly make an impact on their lives. And, you know, when we first built this business, it was out of a commitment. You know, belief drives behavior. And so the belief in the product within 1 week is what really launched us into saying, hey, we need to partner with this company. This just makes sense. And through that, over the course of just really plugging into the system, one thing I would say is that this business is not people dependent, but it's systems dependent. And when you just plug into the system and follow the system, then it's going to be proven to be successful. And so right after 2 years, a little over 2 years, we hit a 6-figure residual income with the company. And last year I retired as a designer. It is truly... It's amazing because it's truly changed our life in every single dynamic, from our finances to now time freedom. Actually, our home, the Lord has just blessed us through this journey. And I always tell people now when I mentor and coach them that to make sure you enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, because we wouldn't be who we are today, and we wouldn't be where we are today had we not gone through the struggles, the challenges, the things that you have to overcome to be successful in no matter what it is that you're doing. And so I encourage you to just embrace the process, plug into this incredible group of people that you're surrounded by, follow your leadership, allow yourself to be coachable, and you too will be able to attain whatever it is that you're looking to fulfill, because I believe wholeheartedly that this is the vehicle to get you there. So,
absolutely. I'm going to finish out by saying this. You're here today because you want something more out of some area in your life. And I can tell you that Quimby and I have probably made almost every mistake that you can make in Market America. But one thing we always did right, and the one thing that we were always coached to do, is we always made sure that we were at every event, but yet we got as many people as we could to the next event. Because when life happened and we had to take 6 months off because we had 8 feet of water in our home due to the flood, we created a culture, an organization that had a habit of consistently going from event to event, and that was the residual action that allowed our company to grow and for us to continue to get paid every week because of the commitment and the culture that we created. So just plug into the system. You'll make mistakes along the way, but the event will always correct itself, and just rely on that will be great.
I just got to say, it's so exciting when you not only can bless other people, but you can raise your family up. And my son and Cheyenne here, and my daughter as well, getting to raise our children up. They're all business partners of ours. And even my youngest son, who is only 17, just shared this opportunity with someone in his work who called me up and said, I'm partnering with you guys. And so it's awesome to see that, because he's even so young, but he's seen what our lifestyle has changed and how we've changed. So I give you hope and encouragement, because I believe that every one of you are going to be in this place too.
Hey, we're just getting started.
Man, what an awesome story. To see somebody's life change so much, not just financially, but to see health-wise, where both of you guys have been. It's so exciting. And now, it's exciting because Quimby's actually going to be flying to the UK to be doing some training. So the next portion that we have is just getting more product knowledge. Because Market America is a product brokerage company, what that means is we don't make anything, we just identify market trends, things that are hot, and then we get contracts with manufacturers to make those products for us. And we only deal in billion-dollar industries. And so we're only dealing with something that people are already looking for, but typically we have a much better product at a better price. And so it's pretty incredible with the products that we're able to offer. And so because we have thousands of stores, and then obviously millions of products with shop.com, a lot of times as franchise owners or as guests, we don't know a lot about all of the different product lines. And so each week we try to cover a new product line so everyone's learning more about that. Last week was skincare, and so it's pretty cool that you were out there selling skincare last week after learning, so that's pretty incredible. But this week we actually are learning about heart health and the products that are offered in our heart health store. And so I'm excited because these up-and-coming stars in Market America, they are really doing such a great job of leading and growing actually new areas, which you're going to learn about tonight. But they are coordinators of the business. Please help me welcome Kenneth and Sue Kirby.
First off, we just want to thank y'all for giving us the opportunity to present tonight. As was said, I'm Kenneth. This is Sue. We are the Kirbys, and we are the total package. My wife is 100% quality, and I'm the quantity. Today, it actually turned out being kind of cool because today is President's Day. And that gives me the chance to talk about some of my favorite people and some of our presidents. The one I want to talk to you about tonight is George Washington. He was our first president. And briefly, I just want to tell you why I so admire this man. Okay? This man, in taking a fledgling country, being our first president, He was a very selfless man. Okay? What I mean by that is, you know, everybody that was coming from England that was, you know, establishing this new country, don't you think they was a little scared? I would have been. And where do you go to when you're scared? You go to security. What was security for them? And what a democracy was it? No. They were used to having a king. They would beg George Washington to become the king. But what did George Washington do? He knew it was better for this brand new country. He loved the people enough to refuse that every time to bless this country. In talking about George Washington, there's another man that just, you can't avoid but seeing the exact same selflessness in. And that's the owner of Market America. That's J.R. We are so blessed to be a part of this dream of his that he gives everything. We've heard that he's been offered billions of dollars to sell this company. But you know, he loves us. He loves this company. He loves this dream that it's actually come to fruition. Yeah. We have to respect that man. Yeah. I tell you, we are blessed. Yeah. In going through that, I'm going to skip a little bit towards George Washington, the end of his life. Now, the day before George Washington died, he was out riding his horse. Okay? And normal, riding a horse in December, it was cold. You know where Mount Vernon is, right? Right next to D.C. It is cold. So he was out riding his horse, and actually some snow and sleet came up. Some rain also. He got soaking wet. Okay? The time he made it back to Mount Vernon, he was freezing to death, of course. But, silly George. He gets there, he goes in the house, and he decides, well, I'm just going to stand by the fire and stuff. And he never changed his clothes. So he was inside those wet clothes. He woke up the next morning with, I'm sure, a fever, with, I'm sure, a cold. And, of course, the doctor was nowhere around. It took forever to get a doctor in those days. So one of the servants from the house actually came up and said, hey, I know something that might be able to help you. And guess what it was? Bloodletting. Bloodletting. And guess what they did? George said, well, I'll try anything. I feel sick. So they tried it, and it made George feel a little bit better, he thought. Progressing throughout the day, they actually bled George Washington 4 different times. The 4th time, it's estimated they took out over a quart of blood. He did pass away that evening, but he didn't die from a cold. He died from being bled to death. So we know that life is in the blood. If we go and we look at the circulatory system, what actually delivers this life-giving blood throughout our body? Heart. The heart. I tell you. And we know that that's true because if somebody loses the circulation inside their arm or their leg or their toe or their little finger, what happens to that? It dies very quickly because life is in the blood. And the only way to get life throughout our body is the heart. Early civilization, if you noticed, everybody lived around the water. So what do you think that meant their biggest meat that they ate most of the time was? Fish. Makes sense, doesn't it? Nowadays, our diet's not quite that good. I know mine's not. That's my quantity. But I know that mine is not. In today's world, we put our heart in very precarious situations. With all the processed foods and everything else that we have around. Let's pretend like this egg is my heart. Okay? It's your heart. Let's say it's your heart. Mine's probably bigger. Anyway, our heart we put inside very peculiar situations because of all the processed foods, all the meats we eat, all that good stuff. Oh, what am I doing backwards? And so I just wanted to show you a little something. Then this goes up on top of it. It's piping. Then we ran out of toilet paper. But we can use the roll anyway. But think about it. Our heart in this life right now that we're living is in a bad situation a lot of times. And sometimes it's like it's up on a building or something. It's a scary place. Then we're driving home and we pass our favorite burger place. You know, the one that serves the double cheeseburger, extra greasy, extra bacon, the way we like it. And you know what can happen to our heart? Catastrophe can happen. But there are things that we can do to help with this catastrophe. And maybe our heart will survive, just like this guy. And my lovely wife is going to start telling us about some of those things.
Alright, so enter our heart health omega-3. That is a top 20 consumer favorite at Market America. And so what exactly is cardiovascular health? Well, the term is used to refer to heart health, basically. It's how well we treat our heart. And you can significantly increase your chances of maintaining good cardiovascular health by doing certain things. And so, what does the lifestyle have to do with your heart? Simple everyday things you can do. Non-smoking. Don't smoke. Maintain healthy height to weight ratio. Eating a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Limiting consumption of saturated fat. Exercise is really big. And then working with your physician and also a nutritional supplementation program that we're great at. So Market America brand versus the two other leading omegas, we have one a leading omega up front there, that's the Nature Made. And so comparing the brands, Market America has 3,000 milligrams of fish oil. Dr. Tobias brand 2,000 and Nature Made 2,000. And then EPA and DHA are really long words that I can't pronounce, but they're really important. And so our brand has 900 of the EPA and 600 DHA, and again, it's much higher than the other leading brands that are on the market. How does omega-3 work? It works in a variety of ways, but basically it counteracts all of the omega-6 that's in a Western diet filled with meats and potatoes. And so some of the benefits, children can increase their IQ by more than 3.5 points. It reduces triglyceride levels by as much as 30%. Your systolic and diastolic, your upper and lower blood pressure, it can reduce that. What else? It can reduce stroke back to 50% and decrease heart disease by 40%. I have a story or a testimonial, whatever, about blood pressure. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Right. And so I exercised, ate right, thought it was healthy. How could I have high blood pressure? And so I first found out because I went to a minor emergency. I don't go to doctors because they just tell you things that are wrong with you. And so I was pretty much forced to go to a minor emergency. What is the first thing they do when you go to the doctor? They take your blood pressure. I told them up and down before they took my blood pressure, I'm going to have high blood pressure because I can't stand going to the doctor. So they took my blood pressure, of course it was really high. They made me lay down in a dark room for 30 minutes before they let me go home. I blew it off as I was just nervous to go to the doctor. And so about 4 or 6 months later, I had to go back. And again, it was to a minor emergency. See, my husband always taught me that, we raised our kids. Now we just, after our kids are raised, what do you always say?
Oh, we're just waiting to die.
We're just waiting to die. So why do I need to go to a doctor, right? I don't have, if I have high blood pressure, oh well, I'm just going to die. So I go back 4 months later, and my blood pressure was even higher. 45 minutes later, laying in a dark room, they finally let me go. They were about to take me to the emergency room.
And so they just kept begging me, please go get a primary care physician and have a yearly physical or whatever they call it. And I was 50 years old at the time, so I thought I better start doing that. So I went to the doctor. Yes, I have high blood pressure. So she put me on blood pressure medications. That was about 3 years ago. About 4 months ago, my lovely daughter and son-in-law introduced me to Market America and the Daily Essentials. And so I started taking those, and I kept seeing different testimonies about how it's helped blood pressure. And I kept thinking to myself, I think I'm going to stop taking my blood pressure medication. And so I took it for a couple more weeks, my blood pressure medication, along with the Daily Essentials, and then I started taking the heart health as well. Because I saw, it too had a lot of benefits, but one of them was blood pressure. So fast forward a couple weeks, after I started taking the heart health, I stopped taking my blood pressure medication. I went a couple weeks ago for my yearly physical, and my blood pressure was 120/78. So the doctor said, wow, you have the blood pressure of an 18-year-old. Good job on those meds. And I kind of looked at her. I said, well, I haven't been taking those for a few months. And she's like, what? So she asked what I was taking, and I gave her a packet, and she was like, there's really good stuff in this. So anyway, I'm off blood pressure medication. Additional benefits, helps maintain normal cholesterol, which I'm probably sure I have high cholesterol too. Maintains normal blood flow, helps healthy level C reactive protein, whatever that is. Again, ours contains 3,000 milligrams of fish oil. It's nearly 1/3 more than anything else on the market.
Wow.
And it can also decrease the incidence of Alzheimer's, which I know a lot of people are having a problem with that. So, and there's even more benefits. It supports relief from temporary inflammation, healthy eye lubrication, normal tear production, helps promote blood flow to the eye, supports joint health, healthy complexion, and enhances your mood. So all of you moody women out there, it can really help. All right, so is this fish oil free of heavy metals? This is really cool. In contrast to the competitors use a lot of large fish, and the larger the fish gets, the more chance it has for toxins to get inside the fish. And so Market America only uses like anchovies and sardines, which are smaller fish. And then they're also in waters off of Peru, which are supposed to be, really ideal, it's fishing, ideal waters. And so they're tested twice, once from the manufacturer and then once from an independent company to test for metals. And then is this vegetarian? No, the product contains gelatin and fish oil, so it's not considered vegetarian. Cost versus other brands? As Dr. Ed says, you may find cheaper but not better. Sure, staying healthy is expensive, but so is the heartache of illness and premature death, tragedy and destruction, as is so common in my business. And then the recommended dosage, take 2 gel caps per day with a meal for maximum absorption.
While Sue was talking, I was over here. I actually had another thing I wanted to show you. In this cup, there's 2 cups. I had a little bit of water in each one of them, okay? This cup, I used Nature's Best. Oh, Nature Made, whatever she was called. Fish oil, okay? I put it inside this cup. As you can tell, it's not doing anything with the cup, okay? Now, I put our heart health inside, just squeeze 1 gel inside here. And let's see if it's time. As you can see, it ate right through the styrofoam. Now, are you thinking, do I want to take something that's going to In actuality, you do. I'll tell you why. You know the plaque that builds up in all of our arteries and in our heart and everywhere else? Well, if you notice, this plaque is like styrofoam. This doesn't do a whole lot for it, does it? What does our product do? good about our product, that are good about fish oil, okay? Also, in general, but our product, of course, is the best, okay? But we want to tell you one more thing. Drum roll, please. The number one reason to use our heart health is...
This product is off the chain.
That is so fun. Okay, great job. See, up and coming leaders, I mean, they've only been on franchise owners for 4 months, and to see them, that's so exciting. We'll have that before, would you guys agree? Yeah, that was so well done. So yeah, so the next section is the skill training, and we're gonna put on our little tool belts. Our little matching tool belts. We didn't even know we were gonna match again tonight, so she's all black.
No idea.
So I'll help you put on yours. So we're excited because tonight we're going to be going through the different skills of building your business. And so obviously you guys are doing your weekly checklist. How many of you guys have created your book and you're using your book? So in this book you have the weekly checklist. It's what you do in your 10 hours a week. And so you guys know that. You guys are working on that on a daily basis. And so this is just breaking down. You know, you have listening and audio each day, reading to 20 to 30 minutes a day. These are learning the skills that you need in order to run your own business.
And for our guests in the house, this is kind of an idea, right? What we do in this 2 to 3 year plan. So if you understand, like, what is it that I would have to do if this was something that I actually put my eyes on and thought, you know what if could I do this? So you have to ask yourself, could you listen to one audio per day? You know, could you read 20 to 30 minutes a day? You know, could you read your goal statement? These things that are up here are the things that are truly the action plans that we take daily and weekly for success.
And it always has to be a simple task that can be repeated by a large group of people. That's the key to building a large business. Not a difficult task that very few people could do, because that will never create ongoing residual income. The beauty of this is it allows you to be able to get money out of the way so that you can do the things that you were created to do. You know, whether it's to be missionaries in Mexico or, you know, when Tom lost his wife, to be able to be with her. You know, to truly create residual income where you don't have to go into work the next day, you know, when something happens in your life. And so as we go through this, we get to follow up 1 time per week. And I would say that this is probably on the weekly checklist the thing where I see that most people will drop the ball. They're like, oh, you know, and I think a lot of times it's because we're scared to call somebody back. Would you guys agree? It's like you shared the business plan, you're scared to call them back. You shared a product, you're scared to call them back. Why is that, do you think? Fear of rejection. Yeah, of what they might say. Would you guys agree? And it's that way for all of us. And so realizing the importance of it, if you never call back, guess what just happened? They rejected you anyway. They said no, right? And you never called back to follow up. And that was something that I was speaking to Kelly Kramer. She did a conference call for me, and that was a big thing for her in her story. Was the reason that she moved forward is because she and Matt, they were sent information by following up, and so they just kept following up. They just kept looking to the information. They came to the meeting, and in that, then they had enough information to actually make a decision whether this was for them or not for them. Isn't that right, Kelly? And Matt, you're a huge part of that story, which is really awesome. I hadn't heard the story before, so it's exciting. I know that you're here because of Matt being like, no, this is the right thing for our family. So it's really exciting to hear that. Okay, so let's talk about why do we follow up? What is the process? And the fortune is definitely to follow up. And I hear Brandy say that all the time.
It's so true. I mean, think about it. Like she was just talking about, nothing happens if they say no and they reject you. But everything happens if they say yes. I mean, your confidence goes up, your business starts rolling out with momentum. You really start to see that, you know what, the only thing you lost was if you don't do it, is the opportunity. So don't miss out on opportunity because you're scared, because the fortune is there. It's literally like scratch-off games. You know, you never know who it's going to be. But I guarantee you, if you decide that it's you, that I'm going to do this no matter what, that I am posturing myself and I am, you know, going to be the professional in this business, think about it. At a doctor's office, what do? Follow up with you. You set the appointment with them, they follow up with you, they give you a reminder. It's a professional business. You know, Jody Lowe, she's a nail technician, I always talk about. She's constantly booking from one appointment to the next appointment to the next appointment. Why? Because it's just her business. when she started that business, she knew that was a part of the process. So when we teach this and we talk to you about this, it's a little scary, that 10,000-pound phone, because you don't know what the other person is going to say, but you're not responsible for that. If you just think about, hey, listen, the more I just talk to as many people as I can, I don't know who's it going to be for. And tonight I'm really excited because we're going to share with you some really fun, simple ways to keep follow-up in front of you. And, Cindy, you were just talking about, she's like, oh my gosh, I got a yes. I have to call them on Friday. And sometimes when we get a yes, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? You know what I mean? Or when, you know what I mean? Like, truly. But I mean, the look back there, she's like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, I'm gonna help you. She's like, okay. What I love about this business is you're never alone. And I joke about that. Cindy's confident, but it's true because we get scared or we're like, they didn't answer. Or they canceled. You know what? No, we're going to take that fear, we're going to squash it, we're going to eliminate it because it's truly your path to success.
And everybody has felt that way. You're not the only one that's felt that way. I have definitely gone, when somebody didn't answer, I was like, okay, they didn't answer. I've done that too, I guarantee it. And so it's just part of the process of growing and becoming and learning, through it, and gaining confidence that you truly have something that could change somebody's life. And you never know. Like when I'm sitting across the table from Josh, I don't know who's going to be the next director in this company. I don't know. Josh could very easily be the next director in this company, and there are thousands of people. You never know.
And it's all about, if you went to your JOB and they told you you had to make these phone calls, would you do it? Why? Because it's your job. Why else? Because you want to get paid. If you didn't do what they said to do, so why do we treat a business any different? We have to be the business owners, and guess what? When we have people that are going to follow us, you have to be the leader that you would want to follow, right? A leader can't lead where a leader hasn't gone. So if I was sitting with Quimby and I'm like, Quimby, we're going to make these calls, and then I'm going to show her, like, I started working out, and he was like, man, you're not really good at this, But the truth is that, when you partner up with people, that's a great thing. Accountability to say, Stacy, come with me. Let me sit down and make these calls with you. It gets easier and easier because then you just start thinking about it, differently. You start getting that momentum. You start getting that practice in your business. It's going to make you better.
That's exactly right. So let's talk about why do we follow up? What is the process and why is it important? So if you guys can imagine what I call a human barometer. And on this, everybody fits on this human barometer. Every person in this room, JR writing for the president of the company is on this barometer. Every person is on this barometer. And we go from not interested to interested to get out of my way, I'm going to kill this thing. And we all fall on this, and we fall different places depending on where we are. Because would you guys agree we're all emotional creatures? Yeah. And so let's say that you saw the business plan, and after you saw the business plan, you were interested. And then let's say that they got you some more information, you kind of moved a little bit further up on that. And then let's say that somebody got you to World Conference, and you came from World Conference, and you're like, oh my gosh, this thing's amazing, get out of my way, I'm gonna kill it, right? But then you get home from World Conference, and life happens, and your dog died, and so then you start to move down the barometer, right? Because it's like, oh, life happens. And so that's really how the cycle of this goes. Whether you're an unfranchised owner or you are a person that's just looking at the business, can you see how just due to life, you kind of go up and down on this barometer, right? And so what happens is, when you have, let's say that I share the business plan with Michelle. Michelle sees it, let's say that it's a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being she has no interest, 10 being I'm going to kill this thing. Let's say that she's a 5, okay, on that barometer. So I share the business plan with her, and she's a 5. And so let's say that a week goes by, and I haven't talked to her about the business. What's probably going to happen? She's going to naturally drop, right? That makes sense, right? That she would naturally drop because she hasn't even thought about Market America. But when you start thinking about Market America, or you try the product and it changes your life, what ends up happening to you on this barometer? You naturally get more excited. So the key to follow-up is you want to always follow up within 24 to 48 hours after you share the business plan with somebody. Because at that point, you're kind of like catching them. My husband always describes it, let's say that you are going to the top of a building and you're going to drop a brick. That brick is going to fall either way. So you may be running down the flights of stairs trying to catch the brick right before it hits the ground and it crashes and they have no interest. But if you can put a parachute that, Greg. It's still going to fall, but it's going to fall a lot slower. Would you guys agree? By using follow-up materials, it's like a parachute. It's like it's going to fall a lot slower. It gives you an opportunity to run down those flights of stairs, grab them, give them something else, take them to the top, and they're going to start dropping again. That's just part of the process of understanding how it goes until that person gets enough information to truly make the decision that they need to make for their family, whether this business is right for them or not right for them, or this product is right for them or not right for them. Does that make sense to you guys?
And what's great, Stacy, is that a lot of times some people just don't know how to say no. Would you guys agree with that? Yeah. Like you'll get we call it the forever maybe. Oh, maybe I'm going to do this, maybe I'm going to do that. You know, but they just don't know how to tell you no. Maybe they're like me and they're so mercy driven and kind. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to say no to them. So what you do is you just stay pleasantly persistent in your follow-up. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Because you know what, you're going to have these people come through the funnel and they just don't know how to tell you no, and that's okay. You know, but you just assume that they're the man and woman of their word, and every time that you are following up with them, when you create that consistency, that you just be pleasantly persistent. Don't stalk them. You know, we're not in the business of stalking people. We don't have to here. We're not a recruiting company. We're not a multi-level marketing company. We're always having to bring in people. We get to be choosy. So when you're following up with people, make sure that you put it out there like, you know, for any reason, if this isn't for you, you know, would you just let me know? And you take it away from them. Sam and I just did this on a three-way phone call just on, I don't know, a couple days ago. And she was inviting this young man to come to the UBP. And so that's a business presentation for our guests that we show our business plan. And so the guy, he was just like, yeah, you know. And so I was like, take it away. So I was giving her the words to say, and she's like, well, you know, this probably isn't for you. And he's like, well, what? And she's like, well, it's probably not for you, but you know what, I really respect you in business. And you know what, even if it's not for you, maybe you could just put your eyes on it, and you could share with me maybe somebody that you might know. And he goes, oh, no, I'm going to be there. I mean, he closed himself. So at the end of the day, you're going to learn in this business through follow-up, like, you know, now I'm like, Sam, now stay on him, like, you know, pleasantly, hey. And he even said, would you please follow up with me because I get lost in my time. Listen, when you ask permission, it'll automatically start working itself out. So when's the best time to follow up with you, Tanya? And so he said, listen, why don't you follow up with me before your next business presentation so that I can put it in my schedule. I'm going to put it now that I might forget. So just stay pleasantly persistent and remember, no isn't always no. It's just maybe they don't want to, you know how to tell you. And so until they just go no, then you just stay pleasantly persistent and keep rotating them through your names list.
That was such a great point that you made. I just want to point out something real fast. So what's your name right here? Jared. Okay, Jared, will you stand up real fast? So I just want to point out something real fast. So Jared, go put up your hand. This hand on the side, okay? And then I'm pushing against you, but why are you pushing back against me? Because would you guys agree, it's human nature. If I push, what's he going to naturally do? He can't help it. He's going to always resist. And so in the business, what I love, thank you very much. Everybody give Jared again. That's good. Yeah, but that is life. And so I think what was really important about what Brandy was saying was when you come onto somebody like, hey, you'd be great at this business, or they feel like you're trying to get them to do something, they will naturally, without even knowing it, they are going to naturally resist. But when you take it away and say, that's okay, this may not be for you, then it allows them to then be able to not have to resist, but then really make a decision. Does that make sense? Because you're not pushing against them. And so that's a really great point. Thank you. So who do you follow up with? We are constantly following up with ourselves. Do you guys agree? I mean, seriously, because and a lot of times you have to act your way into feeling versus feeling your way into acting. Yeah. I mean, that's in all areas of life. It could be going to the gym. Who really feels like going to the gym, right? but you get in the gym and what ends up happening?
You're glad you went.
Oh my gosh, you feel unbelievable. You're so glad you did. Even in the morning, the snooze, man, I love that snooze. I don't want to get up. But of course you're going to get up out of bed because you are acting your way and you're feeling, not feeling your way into acting. And so that's really an important thing of constantly following up with yourself. So that's why we listen to audios. That's why we're reading. That's why we're doing this. That's why you read your own goal statement. It's constantly a reminder of why you're doing what you're doing.
And Stacy, that's what's so hard about this business sometimes, right? It's because we have to become our own boss. And we're so used to be telling some checking it off, turning it off, and then, like Stacy said, getting the money out of the way to do the things you want to do. This is the steps that it takes. So becoming your own boss mentally, it takes action. And like you're saying, to feel your way, or to think, what you said, that was really good.
Feel your way into acting versus acting your way into feeling. And to act your way into feeling, not feeling your way into acting.
Exactly. That's what she said.
That's what I said. And so you're constantly also following up with your mentor. You are a motivator for your mentor, just so you know that. When we're getting phone calls from people that we're mentoring, and they're like, this happened, and this happened, I called this person. Do you know how exciting that is for us? That's motivating for us as well. And so calling with great reports, that's huge. And constantly following up with your mentor. Your current organization, who you're working with. So don't just look at somebody just because Patrick became an unfranchised owner in Market America. Holly should never stop following up with Patrick. That's like part of the process. She is working with him and helping him to reach his goals and dreams. Just because somebody registered their business doesn't mean you now stop following up with that person. Our sponsor, Kelly, David's brother, 20 years later is still following up with us. He'll make a joke and he goes, "You guys going to renew again this year?" Yeah, I think we'll give it another year. And so he's constantly still following up with us to see how we're doing as well. And so that's another part of it. Customers, of course, you want to follow up with your customers. Because if you have customers that are using the product, you're setting yourself apart when you are following up with them to make sure that they're enjoying the product, to make sure it's working for them, answering questions. That's the part of customer service that really sets us apart and very important. And then, of course, possibilities and potential prospects for the business. Those are all part of the follow-up process as an unfranchised owner with the company. And then working smarter rather than harder. This is a key. When your lips are moving, just so you guys know this, anytime your lips are moving, you should always be pointing towards a tool outside of yourself that could be scaled up infinitely. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I become the best person on OPC3 and I can answer everybody's questions. And so Nick calls me with a customer and he's like, "Stacy, can you tell him about OPC3 and why this product is so great?" And so I start talking to the customer for Nick and they're like, "Man, that's such a great answer." And so Nick starts telling people, you should have Stacy do. Mackenzie, when you have a question about OPC3, you should have Stacy do a call because she's the best. And so then Mackenzie starts calling me. And then Mackenzie's like, "Yeah, she is the best." So then she tells Tanya about it and Tanya starts calling to me. Can you guys see at some point, I'm going to run out of time? Yeah. But if I can find a tool, which is so great about Market America, that I can actually point somebody to. So Nick has a question about OPC3 and I say, "There's a really great audio on OPC3. You should listen to this by Dr. Blumenfield." He listens to that and goes, "Man, that's really good." So then Mackenzie has a question about OPC3, then he tells her about the audio.
That's really good.
She starts listening to the audio, she goes, "Man, this is really good." And she tells Tanya, "Can you see that right there can be scaled up infinitely? You could have thousands of people listening to an audio, but I can't talk to thousands of people." Does that make sense? So you should always be pointing to tools versus yourself. Yeah, that deserves an yes. There's a lot of great things that, just what you're saying. Jackie Velasco created Go Now Resources. And what it has is a great tools for everybody to use in every division that we have. So whatever leverage you can use, that's what we teach you to do. So if you're running across people who are doctors and you're not, you can say, "I don't have any idea how to explain this to you." And if you can't get a doctor right away, like Dr. Ed or someone on the phone to leverage that, then Go Now Resources has a great tool that you pull out of your tool belt and you simply say, "Listen, there's a recorded call for 23 minutes from one of the top doctors in Market America. I'd love to share with you the information." You can simply call and push play and listen to the testimony given right from the doctor. And education. And so it's there for every division that we have, and the top of the top are actually being interviewed on these phone calls that you should check out and use as a tool.
Exactly. Something I want to point out is I was actually speaking with Brittany earlier today, and Brittany, when we got off the phone, what did I have you do?
She sent me Kelly Kramer's phone call, the conference that you had with Kelly Kramer.
Yes, and so then what did you do?
I listened to it right away.
Yeah, and so thank you, Brandy. So something I want to point out with that is I sent it to Brittany because we were talking on the phone, but also I sent it to 2 other people today, and they were listening to it, and so that's something that she was listening to that while I was doing something else. Do you guys see that? So she's learning from that while I'm doing something else, and then I had 2 other people, so I had 3 people listening to that same audio today, I didn't have to tell them the information. They heard it from what Kelly recorded on Saturday. So what we did there, they were learning from that recording. And so again, it's like, how can I use tools outside of myself so I don't have to be the tool, I'm using the tool, in the process.
I mean, even with heart health, you guys can go to YouTube after Troy uploads this and use what we're doing right now tonight. If you find something valuable, just say, hey, oh my gosh, you should check this out. It's going to be the best, 30 minutes of your night. It was 22 minutes, but, these guys did a great job of explaining heart health. And so then again, you don't have to, recreate the wheel. You're just leveraging other people's success stories.
That's exactly right. So in Market America, there's two types of tools that we use. We use physical tools and we use virtual tools. Now, when we started the Market America business back 20 years ago, we didn't have a lot of virtual tools. Most of it was physical. It had to be in hand. But now today, you can send somebody a YouTube clip like that. You can send somebody an audio that they can listen to, very easily versus a tape that we used to have to get, which was a physical tool versus a virtual tool. So we're going to actually break down what are some physical tools and how do you actually work with these tools. And we're going to have you guys practice that tonight, practice using the tools, because that's an important thing, knowing how to give somebody a tool and make sure they're actually going to use it, take it, listen to it, read it, by actually handing it to them. How do you go through that process? And Brandy is one of the experts on that area. So what are some of the physical tools? Well, we have annual report. So let's say you're dealing with somebody that's a numbers person. They're like, man, I want to know more about the numbers. Market America, they don't have to do this, but every year they have an annual report. So you can give somebody that's wanting to know about the numbers, you can give them the annual report, and you should be very proud of it. To see that Market America's done $7 billion and paid out over $3.6 billion to unfranchised owners, with every quarter being bigger than the quarter before. Anybody that's been a business owner of any kind, when they see that every quarter from its conception has been bigger than the quarter before, that is unheard of. Think about 9/11. Think about 2008, what happened. To have business that is able to withstand that is absolutely unbelievable. So somebody sees it, they're like, this is a legitimate business. It really is a great tool. A product catalog to learn more about it. It could be Mocha Tonics packets. It could be Awake. It could be Daily Essentials. And that's something I know that you use a lot. So let's actually talk about what does that look like, and how would you actually give a Daily Essential packet, and how do you walk through that process?
Okay, so it's kind of interesting because, if think about, right, we all want to do one thing, it's duplicate, right? And imagine if I'm working two sales organizations, so guest, what we do in our business is we find two people to help manage our growth. So, and then we have two sales organizations, so this might be my right sales org, so we'll pretend this is the right sales organization, and this is the left sales organization. I want you to understand power of leverage and duplication. Because what we found is the more people, Stacy, were getting, information about the daily essentials, and they were like, wow, and then we came out with the packets. So we have our tools, and then we have our daily essential packets, where it has the 4 products in one that we can share with people. Well, these packets are sold 30 packets in one box. So there's enough for 1 month. So as a business owner, and you saw one of the action steps that we take every single week is sell a product, right? Well, maybe you don't sell a product your first week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks and 4 weeks in your business. But when you get the knowledge of how to do it and you become a testimony of the product yourself, then this stuff just starts flying off the shelf because you understand the power of the testimony and what it does. So imagine this, right? If it's I think the BV for one box, does anybody know off their head? It's like 35 BV, okay? And so imagine if all of us on this side were ordering one box of daily essentials on our auto ship that we get, right? Because we really want to gain customers if we're going to do our business, and 30 packets are in one box. I'm going to simply identify 10 people a month. I'm going to pick 10 people, I don't know who they are, but I'm going to find 10 people a month, and I'm going to give them 3 packets of daily essentials. So if I targeted Stacy, right? So this is how it would look. If I found Stacy and I thought of Stacy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Stacy, listen. Okay, I'm going to pretend I'm just going to do this. You guys see this because you can do that. So I'm like, oh my gosh, Stacy, how are you doing, girl?
I'm great. How are you doing, Brandy?
I am so excited. Listen, I thought of you because I know you said the other day that you weren't sleeping well.
And a terrible time.
Well, girl, I'm so excited because you instantly came to my mind when I was put on a challenge to find 10 people this month to trial this product for us. And finding so many results of people getting better sleep and having more energy. And I thought if I could just ask you, would you mind taking these 3 samples and trialing them for me? I'm going to follow up with you, but I want to see how they do for you, what they do for you. Would that be okay?
Sure. So what all's in it?
So this is great. This is OPC3, which is our company's flagship product. It's going to help with inflammation. And then it has a multivitamin, which I'm sure, I know you're already taking a multivitamin, a calcium and vitamin B, which is part of what helps you with your energy. But what's great about it is it's going straight into your bloodstream. And well, it's great because you open this up, drink it on an empty stomach, mix it with 8 ounces of water, and this is actually a patent product that our company has, and nobody knows about it. Wow. And we're finding so many testimonies, but what I mean is that it's the closest thing you can get to an IV. Wow. So would you take this? Oh, girl. Well, I have a friend, Quimby. She totally was like, I don't take anything, but I made her hold her nose and take it, and it was amazing because it cleared up her fibromyalgia and her IBS, so I don't know if you know anyone, but she didn't think it tasted great at the time, so I just told her to hold her nose, and now she doesn't even have fibromyalgia and IBS. But I think it tastes like a fruit, like juice. I don't know, it's so good. Okay. So I don't know, but you can tell me when I follow up with you. Is that okay? I think you're gonna love it. Okay, so here, take it now. Stacy?
Yeah?
You promise if I give these to you today that I can follow up with you and you're gonna take them?
Yes.
Because I can only pick 10 people. Yes. So I really want to get your feedback.
I will take it.
Now, what's the best way to follow up with you? Would you want me to text you or call you?
Texting's probably the best.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna text you. When's better? Me to text you in the morning? Because I know you need to take it in the morning.
Yeah, you gotta text me to remind me to take it in the morning.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna text you in the morning.
Okay.
Okay, now, I'm leaving this with you.
What she just did there, because a lot of times people will just hand up the trial packets and then that's it. What she did is she actually made a connection with me. She said, now if I give these to you, you are going to take it, right? And what she didn't even let go of it. Did you guys notice? She didn't let go of it. What did she make me do? She made me agree. And so by doing it, that was a bond that just happened there. You know? Than if she just gave me these 3 trial packets. You guys understand that? It's like, it is like really, it was like I agreed to her, yes, I'm going to take it. And then what did she tell me that she's going to do? She's going to follow up, and she asked me, what's the best way to do it? Texting, calling, when's the best time to do it? I mean, that is really important because then I said it as this is the best way to get a hold of me, so I'm expecting that to actually happen. Does that make sense?
And Stacy too, you guys, we become the professional. Right away, we take the scary and the fear right out of it. We take away it from ourselves. Because now I know that I've already committed to I told her I'm going to do something, I better do it. Right? Because then we look like a flake, so there's no time to be fearful when we think, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not going to call her. No, maybe I will, I don't know. Because I've already told her I'm going to call her. I'm posturing myself as a professional, and I'm simply going to call her the next morning. Hey girl, did you take your vitamins? Okay, how do they taste? And it's fun because as you get to hang out with us, as you get to hear the stories of how it changed Beverly's life, this is so impactful, how it changed, her from having fibromyalgia and IBS to many back testimonies and pain. Y'all, it's amazing. Dr. Evans had 99.9%, he said, of his patients 100% respond. In the blood work, that's what's crazy, you guys, is that's what he's saying. And so when you know these stories, I can look at her confidently and be myself, be fun. Listen, I'm not responsible if she didn't like them and she doesn't buy them, but y'all, we did the actual numbers on this. And as we found the 10 people, we did it for 90 days. And as we found the 10 people, what we were finding is 4 to 6 people bought the product. Think about this. It cost me $50 to buy a box of product. But how much it sells for 77 bucks. Think about it. Every box I sold, that's 35 BV that I get to share with everybody. Not only that, it's retail profit in my pocket. But not only that, I'm also helping her health. Freedom from poor health. And financial.
Let's break it down. If you have a piece of paper, you're going to practice this, so you need to write this down because we're going to actually do it here in the room. Now, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to get this. Because we want you to practice it. It's okay if you see it here, but that's not how adults learn. Would you guys agree? The only way you learn is by practicing yourself. Yeah. So we're going to have you practice this for a couple minutes in a workshop type setting. So let's talk them while they're doing this.
Okay, so all of a sudden you guys are in a challenge, right? Everybody wants to help you on your challenge, and you are in a challenge. I've told you, find 10 people that you can identify, that you could choose, and so you let them know, listen, I'm in a challenge, and we're doing a survey for health, you know, and I wanted to find out if I can give this to you. You know, you ask permission, if I give this to you, would you take it? Maybe you know someone who can't sleep well, or has, you know, issues, or pain, or whatever. Then you say, I know that, Tanya, you've been struggling with, you know, whatever it is that you know of that person, and I just thought of you. Listen, make it personal.
So she said, it's a challenge, so write down that, it's a challenge, I'm in a challenge, gotta find 10 people, I'm in a challenge, 10 people. And then she said, what else did you say?
Yeah, so I thought of you. I thought of you. And if there's a personal, like, I mean, Alicia, she literally was in the hospital for over a month. I gave her the products, you guys. Literally, tell the testimony.
I know, I'm sorry. I was sitting home actually after being in the hospital for a month after major surgery with a feeding tube. And she brought over the products, I tried them, and I was literally not hardly even able to walk because the incision is, 8 inches long. And Saturday, after trying them for 2 days, I was able to get up and go to her house. I couldn't drive yet, but I went to her house and was able to get up. But I was actually able to come off the feeding tube a week early.
Wow.
When we went back to the doctor, the surgery that she had, they were like, the doctor and the physician's assistant were like, oh my gosh. People come in here in their pajamas and their slippers after this procedure, and she's dressed to the nine and looking good, and they were totally blown away, said she could be the poster child for that particular surgery.
I didn't know if it was going to work, but I have had enough experience sharing the product, getting the testimonies back, that I'm confident. I know one thing, I don't know how it works, I just know that it does. Yeah. And so anybody that I know and love, I'm giving up like, you've got to take this. You please take this. So when you identify the 10 people, let them know, listen, I thought of you. I'm in a challenge. I thought of you. Write that down. I thought of you. I'm in a challenge. If there's something you can relate or identify with them on, then let them know. I know that you're having trouble sleeping. I know that you have so many health challenges. Good. I know that you've been in depression. I know that you've been stressed out. I know that, you take a lot of vitamins.
I know you have allergies.
I know you have allergies. So whatever it is, identify that, and then just say, is there any way you'll help me and just try these? Can I count on you for the next 3 days to take these packets and let me follow up with you? Right? Can I count on you to try these packets and let me follow up with you? And so then what do you do? Don't let go. Make the eye commitment. Now, Stacy, are you promised you're going to take these? Because I can only find 10. I can only pick 10 people. Okay, so when's the best I can follow up with you?
In the morning.
In the morning. Okay, so what works better for you? Text or should I call?
Text is best.
Okay, perfect. I'll text you in the morning. So take on an empty stomach with 8 ounces of water right when you get up. So give them the instruction, right? Tell them, make sure, can I count on you? And then follow in with how am I going to follow up with you? Right now you've set the professional approach, and then, you tell them, thank you. I'm excited. Thank you for doing this for me. Listen, it does a world. I know Kathy literally did this. She said every person in her chair, and she gave them 3 daily essentials. Y'all, you know the number, Beverly, but from August to December, how much money did she make? $38,000? $36,000. Just from what we're telling you to do. Just doing this. Y'all, guess what? Some of you are going to think about it, and some of you are actually going to do it. Let me say that again. Some of you guys are going to think about this, and then some of you guys are really going to do it.
So do it! So what we're going to do is we're going to take the next 5 minutes. I got my phone up here. We're going to take the next 5 minutes, go ahead and stand, and we want you just to act it out. So with the person beside you, and then find another person, do it. At least 2 people, just practice what we just did right there. So even if you're a guest, you need to practice it. Yeah. The last thing that we had here was leading as a tool, and it is really a huge tool, because I think, seeing a group of people and being around them is had a video, Matt watched it, and Kelly kind of watched it. And then Kelly ended up coming to a home business presentation. Can you tell us about that? What turned that around for you? Because you had no interest until you actually went to a home business presentation. So can you tell us about that?
Sure. So Matt and I had actually met with David and Stacy and Colton and Michaela for a lunch, and they kind of presented the plan to us. I didn't understand it at all, and kind of left that. And Matt, when we were actually driving back to our work afterwards, he was like, "What'd you think?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know, I don't get it." He was like, "I think we need to do this." I'm like, "What? Like, were we in the same conversation?" And so we ended up, a few weeks later, I ended up going to a home business presentation, and David and Stacy actually picked me up.
Because 100% of the people that you pick up, what?
Show up. And so I showed up that night because they picked me up, and I walked in, and Brandy greeted me, and she was very bubbly and very excited, and I was like, what? And she was like, I'm gonna make you an isotonic. I thought she said ice and tonic. I was like, what kind of business meeting is this? Like, okay, so she like goes over, she, pours the powder in and mixes it up and then brings it over to me and she's like, drink it. And I'm like, what is this? And she was like, it's isotonics, it's vitamins and supplements. And I was like, oh, okay. So I started drinking it. I'm like, okay, it's not alcohol. But then Brandy and Tom, they actually went up and they did the business presentation again, kind of like we see all the time. And for me, I kind of started understanding it a little bit because that was probably the third or fourth time that I had seen it. But for me, I saw the hope in the room. I saw that there were several people in that room that were passionate about something. And what I didn't share previously was earlier the week before, I was expecting to get a promotion at my job and to be moving into a different position inside the church. And I had found out that that wasn't going to happen. And I was devastated. I thought that the Lord had been preparing me to be moving into this newer position to disciple people and all this stuff. And I was looking for hope. And so when I was in the room and I saw how passionate they were, and the fact that these are average people around me that were doing this, I was like, maybe this is what the Lord had been preparing me for. And so that's all. I think that's so powerful. I mean, think about perspective. Perspective, guys, is your passport or it's your prison. It is. I mean, think about it. You know what I mean? Just for having Matt implant something in your heart, and guests in the house, you know what? Listen, it's your perspective. You have no idea what the heck you're probably even at, much less, understand if it would be for you, but understanding one thing, we believe in divine connection. We believe that we are hope dealers, that we are gold diggers. And it's so funny because Jackie Velasco, we were at Miami, I have to tell this story because I know she's going to be watching. We were sitting in Miami and we're on the front row and Jackie's like, oh, and if you know Jackie, she's like, oh, and Jackie's what, like 60 something? I don't know, we're not going to say.
I thought she was like 27.
Whatever, she's going to see this. I love you, Jackie. But anyway, she's just so full of life. And she's sitting there and she heard me say that we were gold diggers. And so she's texting the whole entire team of Wisconsin that we're gold diggers. devastated and need some hope, just like those guys. And we believe in that. We believe that when you follow up and continue to follow up on your follow-up on your follow-up on your follow-up. Jamoris is brand new, last week just partnered in the business. And I'm just telling you, Josh is telling him, bring guests. I'm telling y'all, bring guests, because the more people you put in front of this opportunity, just say, you have to come to me with this. What is it? Just come. I'll give you a gift for just coming. It's all about shopping online. And it's all about making money and transferring your spending into earning. And you're doing it anyway. Come see what I saw. Don't try to explain it. Just get people in front of it and follow up with excitement. People are going to want to partner with people going somewhere. She just said it. She walked into a room and it was full of people who had passion and who had hope. Just want to add that.
Okay. So we started with physical tools. The second thing we have is we have virtual tools. These virtual tools, again, these can be scaled up infinitely. And that's what you really want to look at. How can I get something that can be scaled up infinitely that I can have thousands of people listening to while I'm doing something else? They're learning, they're growing with the things I've already watched and learned from. They're going to be learning the same things. And so, you've got shop.com product videos. So let's say that somebody had a question about the daily essentials. You can send them a shop.com portal video that they could be watching, to learn more about the daily essentials without you having to spend all the time describing it to them. Or YouTube clips. How many of you guys are using the YouTube clips? Yes. I know Shelby is. She's using them like crazy. It's so awesome. And so you can learn from them, but also you can share other people's stories through these YouTube clips. There's some really powerful stories on that. As well as meet on conference calls. I'm using the heck out of these conference calls. Number one, what I like about it is, let's say that, just using Kelly's story. So Kelly had a great story, and so instead of just telling me the story, I went ahead and pulled a bunch of people on the phone with her so they could be learning at the same time. So that's one way of working smarter rather than harder. Let's say that the phone call was an hour long and I had 5 people on that call. I got 5 hours of production done in my 1 hour. Does that make sense? Versus me calling with Kelly to Jessica, and then Holly, and then Stephanie, and then Paul. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Then that's going to take me a lot more time. But so I did that, which that was working smarter rather than harder, but then I also recorded that call. Because in recording that call, I was with 5 people, but now I can have hundreds of people listen to that same call that took me 1 hour. Now I can get hundreds and thousands of hours of production out of one phone call that I did on a Saturday afternoon. Do you see that? And so you can always be thinking, how can I work smarter rather than harder? And everything I'm doing, scale it up infinitely, so it's a tool that can be used outside of my time. And then audio player, as you guys know, David has worked a lot of hours on the Unfranchised Media app, and it's amazing to where now you can actually sit and then 3-way phone calls. This is how we built our business. So we started our business at 23. That's how Tom built his business. He started it at a very young age as well. But when you were 23 years old, we didn't have a lot of credibility. Who was going to listen to us? We didn't have any ailments. We'd never taken a vitamin in our life and never really had any problems other than my pregnancy. And so, you're trying to talk to somebody about OPC3 who has arthritis, and we're like 23 years old, and like, what do you know? But what we would do is we would get them on the phone with somebody that had success with the product. Brittany and I were talking about that earlier today, because Brittany's young, and she's like, how do I do that? So that's one way. Another way that we would use 3-way phone calls is for the business aspect of it, to build credibility. We would sit across the table from Nick, and Nick had a better job than we did. He was making a lot more money. The most we'd ever made in our life was $25,000 a year when we started Market America. And we were talking to people that were making a lot more money than we were making. And they're like, you don't know anything. But we knew somebody that knew something. Does that make sense? And so we would get him on the phone with David's brother, Kelly. Kelly had a lot more credibility than we did. We'd say, Nick, we can hook you up. We can introduce you to David's brother, who's expanding the business here in the area. He can help answer questions for you. And so we would use these 3-way phone calls to build credibility. And then we realized how powerful they were, and still today we use them. Holly was looking at the business. What did I do, Holly, when you were first looking at the business? Who did I get you on the phone with? Quimby, right? Because Quimby was the expert. People will always believe somebody else more than they're ever going to believe you. They know you too well. They're going to believe the expert from afar more than they're going to ever believe you. I use these 3-way phone calls regularly, and I know you do too.
Well, and it just makes your job a lot easier especially when you're new and you're like, I don't know what to say. You're now in training ground or training business stories that now you have as leverage, right? So all the time you're looking for, who do I know? That's why when you show up, you truly do go up. Because can you imagine the people not here tonight that will never watch that video? They didn't get to see what you saw tonight about the heart health. They didn't get to hear the testimonies that you got to hear from Alicia. They didn't actually get to hear what, Kelly was saying about her testimony. Because there's something about being in the present time, present tense, right now. These guests are soaking up, a part of who we are. And they're sizing up right away. Do I want to look at this? Do I not want to look at this? And you know what? That is our job through the three-way phone calls, is to truly not only leverage the information and let somebody else do the talking, but also for us to be learning. We constantly should be in learning mode. And it's exciting because when you hear, it's like, I love what we do. Because we get to hear these powerful testimonies that are groundbreaking. It's like, what? I had no idea that, your family, you were holding on to everything. And now look at you today, and because of a product that we introduce you to and the power of what you mean to us now. You know what I mean? That we have now a relationship. Listen, this business is way more than money.
Right.
It's relationships. And when you're rich in relationships, you're rich. And when you have somebody that really cares about you and that will go to bat for you and show up at your house whenever you have a flood to get everything out, and that's who you call on because they're your family, you know that that's something that you can't just make up and you can't just give away. You literally get to be a part of that, and that's rich.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to take out your piece of paper because we're going to talk about three-way phone calls and what are they used for, why do we do them? So in a three-way phone call, if you can imagine, if you can kind of think about a three-way phone call would be like introducing two people that you know to each other. It could be at work that maybe they don't know each other, so you're going to introduce, Amy to Shelly, or you're going to introduce Jessica to Monique. That they don't know each other, but they're both friends of mine. Is that a weird situation when you introduce two people to each other? No. Three-way phone calls should not be weird. If they're weird and they feel weird, you're doing them wrong, just so you guys know. It should truly be like, I'm excited because I want to introduce Kayla to Quimby. It should be just like that easy, okay? So what happens is you got you on the phone, you have an expert on the phone, and then you have a prospect or customer on the phone, okay? So you have the relationship, that friendship of trust between you and the prospect or you and the customer. You also have this expert where you're edifying the expert as the person that knows about that product or knows about the business, so you're edifying them, and that prospect of yours or customer is trusting the expert because of what you've said about that person and they trust you. Does that make sense? And so that's kind of how that three-way phone call works. Through your paper, we want you to write these down because this is what it should look like as you're talking to somebody on the phone with a three-way phone call. You're going to call the expert first. Okay, so you want the expert on the phone before you call the potential prospect or customer. So you're on the phone. Typically, if Jessica's going to call me with a person to do a three-way phone call, she's going to first tell me about that person. So before we get on the phone, I know a little bit about them. Okay, so she's going to give me some background information about them so I kind of know a little bit so when I get on the phone, I'm more effective for her. She's also going to tell me what is her goal with this call. What are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to tell them more about OPC3? Are we trying to move them forward in the business? Am I trying to even find out if this is for them? And so I want to know why are we doing this call so I know where to lead and direct the phone call. It's like a goal. Would you guys agree? If you don't have a goal, then you're aiming at nothing. And it's the same thing on the phone call. What's my goal? Why are we making this call? Okay, so then when you make the call, the first thing that you do is you ask the person that you're calling, is this a good time? Okay, very important that you ask them that because if you're dealing with somebody, a mom that's trying to get her baby out of the bathtub, and you're like doing this three-way phone call, they're going to be quite distracted and maybe a little irritated. Would you guys agree? And so I first want to make sure, is this a good time? So this person says, yes, this is a great time. The second thing I want to do right away is let Jared know that I have Brandy on the phone with us. Because I've been on a phone call before where I'm the expert, and let's say that I have somebody on the phone with Jared, and Jared's the customer. This person forgets to tell Jared that I'm on the phone right away, and Jared starts telling like life things that somebody else shouldn't know about. Does that make sense? And I tell you there, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Because then I feel like I'm the peeping Tom. Because pretty soon I can tell Jared I'm on the phone, he's like, are you kidding me? So he's going to let Jared know, hey, I have Brandy on the phone with us, okay? The next thing I want to do is I want to edify Brandy. I'm going to tell them what is significant. Why do I have Brandy on the phone? What is good about her business skills, or what's happened her product-wise, or she got a great product testimony? Something that I was going to edify her as the expert on this phone call. Does that make sense? Very important part of it. And then from there, the expert then, their job is to do three things. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to answer questions for that person as the expert. Does that make sense? So if there's a product question or a business question, then Brandy's going to be answering those questions for that person. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to build credibility for the company. They're going to let them know how credible the company is. And so that's an important thing. But the most important thing is her job. Let's say it's us three on the phone. It's Jared, it's Brandy, and myself. Brandy's the expert, Jared is the potential prospect, and I am the friend of Jared's, okay? So Brandy's job then is to edify me as the friend, because he already knows me, but he doesn't know me in this world of Market America. And so when she edifies me back, because I've edified her, the only way that she can edify me is if I've edified her. Does that make sense? When she's got credibility, then she has to then give me back credibility in this business. Now, the important thing is she only says what's true about me. Don't build me up with some kind of, oh, she's a guru in this business, and I've only been with this business for 2 weeks. And so she only wants to say what's true about me and what could be used today to help Jared. Does that make sense? Stacy, she went to World Conference. She was able to sit in on some of the classes. She's learned a lot about it. She's going to be able to lead you and help you to learn more about how to run your own franchise. Does that make sense?
And Stacy, it's really great because Brittany May, the reason how we found Emily Olson was from a three-way phone call. Emily Olson had her business, and Brittany May called, and we had challenged her to do these three-way phone calls to practice. So Brittany was like, I have somebody, I really want you to talk to her, and she's a makeup artist, she owns her own business, she actually has 8 employees, and I don't know what to say, she was new at the time. And I said, great, let's put her on a phone call. And so we got on the phone call, Brittany May edified me, that's you too could be successful. Edified me, and she said, I have a beauty background, I'm part of our Modus, division with our company, and that, she really thought the world of me and wanted to connect Emily and I, because Emily's also a professional, and and that she thought we could really connect and share some ideas, and I could explain to her what Modus, really meant for someone like her. And so right away, I got on the phone and I was just like, hey, Emily, it's really great to, thank you, Brittany, and hey, Emily, how are you? I'm really excited. Brittany's amazing, and she's really been excited about finding the right people. I don't know if this is for you or not, but you know what? She shared with me about your background. Tell me a little bit about that. I started finding out about Emily, and she was a tough cookie. Emily does not play. And so Emily began to ask me all the questions, and you know what? I just started building that relationship with Emily, and then at the end, again, edified. Well, thank you so much, Emily. Listen, I'm going to be at our beauty studio here in the next week. Why don't you come meet with me, and maybe you can look at the products. I'll bring the products, you can sample them, and you tell me, because you're the professional. And I'm like, look, you're doing this anyway, but you're sending everybody back to back, and you're not getting the payout that you can if you branded yourself to something like us. So maybe you should come check it out. And she was like, okay, so we booked the next appointment.
That's exactly right. And that's the last thing on there is to book the appointment. I think I said there's 3. There's 4 things that person does as the expert. That is perfect, Ray. That's exactly
and
right.
here she is.
Exactly right. And so these phone calls, this should truly become like a very important part of your business, because it doesn't take a lot of time. You're at home. You don't have to leave your house. You could do several of these in an evening. But what happens is, let's say that somebody's home. I don't even know what's on television anymore. Let's say Friends. I don't think Friends is really on television. Let's say Shelly's at home watching Friends that night, and Nick and I called her to talk to her about Market America. So now we hang up. What is she doing? When we hang up, she's now thinking about Market America. Yeah. And so what happened to her on that barometer that we talked about at the beginning? She's going to go higher on the barometer, because would you guys agree, anytime you think about Market America, you always get more excited?
Yes.
I mean, you can't help it. And when you really think about it, what happens? You can't sleep at night.
Hey, like David said, if you really understood residual income, you go through a brick worthwhile to get it, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So what we're going to do, one of the things this week is we're going to have you do three-way phone calls. And so one thing I want to make sure you know how to do is how to do a three-way phone call on your phone. So if you have an Android, I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's very similar. How many of you guys have an iPhone? Okay, so when you take, does everybody know, is there anybody that doesn't know how to do a three-way phone call? Okay, good, let me show you. Okay, so take out your iPhone or your Android. If you don't have a smartphone, I'm not sure. So if you have a home phone, it's very easy as well. Everybody's got three-way on their home phone. But what you want to do is you want to go to make a phone call. So let's say that you call somebody. Go ahead and I'm just going to, what I'll do is I'll call Brandy. So Brandy, I'm going to call you right now. So she's got her phone. So what's happening is I'm actually dialing the phone number for Brandy right now. It's calling her, okay? What happens in that process, until she answers it, there's a little button right here that says add call. Do you guys see this? Once she answers the phone, Kenneth, do you have a smartphone?
No, what's Android?
Android, I think it's the exact same thing. I think it's the same. So what happens is, you see where it says add call? You're actually going to go, once Brandy's answered, she's the expert, then I click on the button that says add call. Do you guys see that?
After she
She has to answer first. Now just answer.
Okay.
She just answered, so it says add call. When that happens, at that point, let me add a call. So let me actually pull on Quimby. Okay, so I'm going to actually call Quimby. Now, look at this. When I do that, who doesn't know how to make a three-way phone call, just so I know? Anybody else in here besides Kenneth? Or is he the only honest one? Okay, so what happens then, once she answers... Okay, so she just... I think I just had a voicemail. But do you see where it says merge call?
No, you did not answer a call.
It doesn't work so right in here.
Okay, so where it says merge call, Kenneth, right here, you see where it says merge call?
Yes.
Once that happens, I actually merge the call, and now Brandy and I are together on Quimby's voicemail, or if she answered, we would be together on the phone call. Does that make sense? It's very easy. Where it says add call and where it says merge, that's the same button. You can only merge a call once that person answers. That's an important thing to know. So I cannot actually merge the call with Quimby until she actually answers the phone. As soon as she answers the phone, I hit merge call, and now we're all on the call together. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so they're very simple, but you have to practice it to be able to make sure that it's going to work, so we're going to have to practice it a couple times this week. But what we want to do is we want to take, we've got a couple of minutes here because we're at the end of our presentation. We want to take 2 minutes, and what we want you to do is have 3 people get together, and you don't actually have to call each other, but what we want you to do is practice. Somebody's going to be the expert, somebody's going to be the customer or potential prospect, and somebody's going to be the friend. And we want you guys to practice what we just did here in introducing them and how that exactly would happen on a 3-way phone call. So divide out into 3 people. We're going to take 2 minutes, and then we're going to finish the call. If I can have your attention real fast. One thing that Alicia pointed out, and it's very true, when doing a 3-way phone call, once the friend has introduced you to the potential customer or prospect, then the friend at that point, they don't talk after that, if that makes sense, okay? So they're there to then listen in and to learn. And Alicia said, she's even told the person that friend is going to be taking notes and learning at the same time, you know? And so that is a very important thing as well, because you want to let the expert talk, that's why you brought him on. Does that make sense? So then you as if you're bringing on an expert, you as the friend, you're just going to listen in while the expert talks.
Even put your phone on mute.
Yes.
Because then the background noise can get distracting. Anything you can do to create less distraction as possible. That was a great tip.
Yeah, thank you, Alicia. That's exactly right. So we want to finish off with, because I've had this question several times, how do you keep track of the people that you're following up with? And Brandy has an excellent system for that. So she's going to go through how to keep track of the people that you're following up with.
Yeah, so it's really simple. You know, we're talking about especially the people who say, you know, it's not for me now, right? So we never just want to throw people out, right? Unless, again, they're brave enough and actually said, you know what, this is just not for me. Then we're going to respect that person's wish and decision, and we're just going to, you know, right? So, but here's the thing, especially with, and it can go twofold, whether you have customers, and then especially when you're new, you can kind of build this cycle up to really go work with you well. So, and then especially when you can then add in auto ship and all that, then you can really be twofold there. But with the people who say, you know what, just not right now, or, then you can pleasantly just say, you know what, is it okay, Bucky, if I just call you back in a couple months? I know right now is not the time for you, so is it okay if I go ahead and just, follow back up with you? Maybe in a couple months, just check back up, because I know that sometimes, time is different in a couple months when we look back at it. Would that be okay? Sure. Okay, perfect. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have I have this little recipe box, right? A recipe for follow-up and success, right? So, just kidding. That was for fun. Anyway, so I got some note cards. I'm simply going to take Bucky's information, and I'm going to write on a note card, and I'm going to fill out his name, how did I meet him, how often was I following up with him. Everybody's going to get a card. Every time you talk to somebody, you're going to want to document, your conversations, because as you grow this, it's really hard to remember where you met them, a little tip about them that, was valuable. So what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to take, and if this is January, I have in my recipe box 1 through 12, or you can actually get January through December, and I am going to place, if it's January, I'm going to follow back up with him 3 months and a quarter. And I'm going to say, I'm going to follow up with you I'll follow up with you about 3 months. Let's see how that looks like. And if he's given me that permission, great. And then sometimes I've had some people, follow up with me in 6 months. Well, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his card and I'm going to put him in the 3 months. I'm going to put him 3 months down the road. So then in March, I'm going to go to March, at my first of March, and I'm going to pull out the cards of people that I'm going to follow up. Remember, as you get started, you're going to have a little bit less. But then as you grow your business, day after day, week after week, month after month, this is going to get filled up. And so what's great about it is that you're going to move this from, month to month to month, following up with people. And when I get back with Bucky 3 months later, guess what he's going to think? Wow, man, thank you. That was like really, he's going to think he's impressed with me because I remember him, first and foremost, and that it's a professional thing to do, right? We had this one lady, she worked in the insurance department or whatever field, and she literally followed up with us for like 2.5 years. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this lady is the best at follow-up. But I went to her office one day, and I said, can I ask you a question? And she's like, I'm like, how do you remember to do that? And she told me this was the system that she used. So I just simply duplicated the system. And so when you understand the power of moving people, listen, with your customers, you do the same thing. Especially if you don't have a lot getting started, then what you want to do is every single month or every single quarter, put your customers in there. Start rotating your customers out, pull it out, and put their little wish list on there. Make sure that you know important things about your customers so that when you pull it out, you're like, hey, this is a customer appreciation month. I really appreciate you. Listen, that goes a long way. People feel important. When you can really master that skill of warmth and confidence, making your customers feel important, it's so much easier to keep a customer than to get a new one, right? And then what we do is we build share. So another great tip with this is, and let's just say if Nick, I know that he's on daily essentials, right? And so I'm like, he's my customer. I'm going to put him in my box for the next month or the next quarter. Then I'm simply going to say, hey, Nick, write a note or give him a call. Listen, would it be okay if I sent you a sample of our wake shot? Because I know that you're up late night doing studio stuff, and I would love to send you a little goodie bag in the mail. Would that be okay? What do you think he's going to say? Yes. And then when I'm exposing more products, building share of customer, that's the goal, right? He's impressed. And listen, I'm not doing it to get, but I really am doing it for that extra touch of customer service. So do you see how this would really be good for you guys to keep this system, to create it, and to duplicate that within your organizations? It really is a huge, effective tool for your tool belt.
Exactly. And she's a professional. Remember, we're wanting a 6-figure income in Market America. We're wanting to make $100,000 residual income or more with a company. If you want that, you have to become a professional to earn that income. Yeah. And part of being a professional is following up. Is learning how to become a professional and follow-up process. And so that is the perfect way, because you're reminded, in 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or whatever you set that time, by pulling out the card. The card's important versus just writing it in your planner, because it's it's hard to write a lot of information about somebody in your planner. But if you have it on a card, you can remember that their cousin had tried the daily essentials, and all these different things that you can remember about that person. So when you're in a conversation on the phone, you're remembering these things that makes that person feel important. So that's very important as well. Okay, so let's go to the homework. Yay! So here's the homework for next week. The only shortcut to success with Elizabeth Weber and Frank Kiefer. Oh my gosh, I listened to this today. It's absolutely outstanding. So incredible audio. The Heart Health Omega-3, I listened to this one as well. Absolutely amazing. So I think it's a great follow-up to what the Kirbys did tonight. And just to reiterate and just to put more information in there about what you learned about the heart health. And then the Power Profile with Don Martin. How many of you guys know Don Martin? Oh, and this Power Profile, isn't it awesome, Nick? It's so good. And so this will be one to listen to this week. It's his story in the business. And then you're going to make a recording on your phone of your goal statement. And then you're going to send it to the senior business partner or mentor that you're working with. We want this in the forefront of your mind. We want you constantly remembering why you're building this business. It's all about you. Patty, it's all about your goal statement. That's why you're building it, not mine, it's yours. And by doing that, it helps me know, let's say that I'm a mentor that Patty's working with, it helps to remind me why she's building the business, and I want to help her more. Does that make sense? Because I'm hearing her goals and dreams. And so you're going to record it and send it to your senior business partner that you're working with. You're going to make three-way phone calls this week. So 3 three-way phone calls this week. It could be with a customer, it could be with a potential business partner, or it could be from one distributor to another distributor, or one unfranchised owner to another unfranchised owner. Does that make sense? So 3 of those. And then the final thing is, it's a 4-part system. You're going to email or text one product video to the customer. You're going to email or text one video to a prospect. And then you're going to somehow, whether it's through a card, through a phone call, through an email or text, you're going to send an encouraging word to a senior business partner and a junior business partner. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So 4 things that you're doing this week on follow-up, okay? So you're going to follow up with your junior business partner by sending something positive to them, your senior business partner by sending something positive to them, some sort of encouragement thing to them, and then a video to a potential prospect, and a video to a potential customer. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so that's the homework. And then the prize for next week is the person that sells the most dollars in heart health will win a prize next week. So that's one prize. And the other prize is the person who makes the most 3-way phone calls between now and next week will win a prize as well. So yeah, see? A hand up here and one person left, everybody left. And now, I want to very quickly, the Kirbys who were up here for talking about the omega-3s, they are actually going to start a meeting system in their area. So very quickly, can you guys come up real fast and just tell us what's going to be happening? So yeah, give them a hand.
Okay, I understand that there's not a whole lot of miles between League City, Texas, and here, actually. Not a whole lot of miles, but Houston's a bear. Y'all never noticed that. It's really hard for our people to get off work at 4:30 or 5 and actually make it this far, even though we love everyone here. So we want to be a part of here, but we are also going to start doing some things over on our side of town, League City. So what we're offering in that is anybody basically south of I-10 is welcome to join us also. That way it might be closer for some people y'all know also. Okay? And of course all of our friends up this side will be continuing to come here. And we could work together that way. We do have a new website. It is MA Team Houston Facebook. That's the reason I told you to do this. I don't know all that technology. A new Facebook, sorry. I've never had a Facebook, so I don't know that. But MA Team Houston, Bay Area, and then that's what we were kind of looking at. Since there's just such a large area between us, we wanted to start something down that direction to kind of help everyone. So we welcome everyone. You can get a hold of us any way that you want to, and we'll help out any way we can. That's
Are you guys
So we call it the first four, and everybody goes, and the last three, and everybody goes, aww. And the winner goes, ah! And if you do not win, Stacy and I mean, if you do not get excited, Stacy and I get your prize. Ready? 5, 9, 0, 0, 3, 6, 4. All the way from Miami. She's like, man, she's gonna need the multivitamins to keep her going. She flies in every single week from Miami. Just kidding. Orlando, whatever. She just flies in, I know, every week. All right, Kinsey, everybody pick me, Kinsey. All right, call it out.
5, 9, 0, 4, 2, 5.
4, 2, 5. Your ticket was right. You get the heart health All right. Here we go. Somebody on the back. Here we go, Miss Shelley. Okay, what is it?
5900 352.
3, 5, 2. You don't have to do. Laura, double winner tonight. That's awesome. All right, she's getting the thick shampoo. We actually have 2 more. All right. Oh, she's so sweet. Ready? 5, 9, 0, 0, 3, 7, 6. Awesome. So you get make today counts. The readers are leaders. Okay, so Nora said she wanted to pay. Did you pay a quarter? Okay. 5, 9, 0, 0, 3, 4, 4. Yay! This is fun. They don't do this at work, right? This is so fun. Could you imagine if you got prizes if you showed up to work? So anyway, so we just bless you guys. We just really pray that this week is the best week. And we just really speak life over your business and over your mindset and your perspective.